is Noah.
Morning, Nora.
And it's Noah.
Noah.
Yes, yeah. And we're gonna slide all the way to the edge of the chair. And why the edge of the chair? Because when we are on the very, very end of the chair, we can actually feel the bones that we're sitting on. Those bones are the hip bone, part of the pelvis called the ischium. And there are little tuberosity, there are little bumps there. They feel like nails. Can you feel them? Morning.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play with those ischial tuberosities, with those little bumps. We're gonna play with them today, try to feel them and find the strength that comes from them. So we're on the edge of the chair, and let's just take one leg a little bit back and one foot a little bit forward, as if we are sitting on, about to make a step. And the leg that's in front, whichever, let's say that your right leg is in front. Let's all do the right leg in front. Let's lift the toes and drop the toes. Lift the toes and drop the toes. Lift the toes and drop the toes. So that seems really easy, right? Like nothing. What's the big deal? The big deal is to find how this movement, the dorsiflexion, is connected to the rest of us. How is it connected? I can just do it like this, right? But if I just do it only from the ankle joint, that will get a little bit tiring. But see if you can find that when the foot comes up, you're actually rolling a little bit on your hip. So if you cannot find it, try to make it. So when the toes come up, this bone, put your fingers on the bone here. This is the ilium, the part of the pelvis called ilium. And that little bump here is the ASIS. Now with all these big names, you can all forget about them. And just when the toes come up, the hip will move back. When the toes come up, just listen to it inside you. And see if that starts to make sense to the whole system. Sometimes it's not about just doing exercises, but is finding how to do the exercises that it is harmonious with the nervous system and it's efficient. Can you feel now the hip moving? And it's not just the hip that's moving. If you put your hand on your lumbar, where the belt is, see if you can feel those vertebrae, which are the largest vertebrae that we have, moving. Or if this is too hard to feel, put your hands on your belly button and feel if your belly button is disappearing. Just a little bit. The more we use the whole system, the more efficient we are. So when we want to get up, if we get up, that's really difficult. If we get up just from the strength, it's very difficult. But if we shift the weight, we can slide away from the chair. But we're not there yet. Now we're going back and forward and back and forward. And let's make it a little bit bigger. So the toes go up and the pelvis roll back. The toes go down, and find out, now let's put your hand on your neck, and when the toes come up and the hip goes back, what happens to your face and eyes? And when the toes come down, what happens to your head and eyes? And when you roll, when the toes comes up, you roll back a little bit, and when you come forward, can you feel the arching of your neck? Can you feel how your eyes go down? You see your knees? And when the toes come down, your eyes look at the horizon, right? It has a reason for it. Can you feel how your neck and lumbar are arching, and your neck and lumbar are rounding? And arch and round and arch and round. Beautiful. And arch and round. And it can be small or it can be big. You choose. And let's do it a little bit faster. Rounding and arching and rounding and arching. And to be able to do it faster, you have to be really efficient. Maybe you need to do it a little smaller so you don't fall. There is no that it's a smooth operation. Can your eyes help you find the rhythm and the trajectory, the line that will cross right in the middle of your body? And rest. And bring both feet together, to the same line. And let's do the same thing now with the same leg, with the legs equal. Let's go to the C shape. Some of you that have been with me for a long time know the C shape. And the L shape. And looking forward. In L shape and C shape and L shape and arching. And can you feel the spine moving from lengthening in the back to being staggered? And if you sit here on the sitting bones, remember the name? No. Ischial tuberosity? I like the name. When we sit right there and the spine is, the vertebrae are going chick, 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 one on top of the other, the muscle can just be there and we don't get tired. But if we are getting out of center somehow, then the muscle has to start working. And when they start working, if one side works more than the other, then we start getting the aches and pains that we have. So let's work now with the other leg in front. So the left leg is in front a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing all over again. What was that? Lifting the toes and finding. Now, your right hip and your left hip are not the same. The way that you have been sitting, the way that you have been walking, maybe you broke it, maybe you have a replacement, and on and on and on. Life stories, right? We're all in the age of life, we have life stories behind us. So what happens when these toes are coming up, and how is it affecting the rotation and the movement right here in the hip joint? Can you feel this ilium bone actually moving? Can you relate it to your eyes going down a little bit and coming up a little bit? How quiet can you be inside you to really find those connections? So it's not about doing an exercise and doing a big movement. Yeah, I can go there. I'm really good at that too. But if I wanted to lift the leg, will I lift it? Well, in a minute. So stop here for a minute and let's try. If I'll ask you to do an exercise and lift this leg, because I want this muscle to be strong, lift the leg. Hold it there. Stretch the leg. Hold it there. This is really hard, right? And it will be a little bit unfair. But if I'll ask you to lift this leg as you move the pelvis back, just enough, suddenly the leg can go higher. Suddenly the leg can stretch higher. And it's not as hard. So the whole purpose of what I'm doing is the wisdom, the intelligence, how to be efficient with this thing that we have. Okay? It's not about bigger and stronger, but how to do it better. So back to our toes, going up and down as the pelvis moves, as the eye moves down, as the eye moves up. And let's make it a little bit bigger. And you may really feel that this side doesn't work the same way as the other side. Like my left side is a little slower than my right side. Which side is yours? How is it responding to your... So the toes comes up, we're rolling back, the eyes are down, toes come down, and the eyes come up. And we are rounding the back, and we are arching the back. So now you can put your hand behind your neck and feel how it's rounding, and how it's arching, and how it's rounding, and how it's arching, and how it's rounding, and how it's arching, and how it's rounding. And sit straight and bring both legs to the same. Can you just make it go quiet?
I can just turn it off.
Okay, and now we're gonna round the spine. And we're gonna arch the spine, and we're gonna allow the eyes to travel with the movement.
Yeah, if you press the volume button on the side, it'll quiet it.
The eyes are super important when we are going somewhere.
I'm calling that lady now, she's calling me back.
The eyes are the one that's gonna take us to where we go. When we don't have the eyes, we have a stick or we have a dog that does it for us. But when we do have eyes, the eyes are the one that's leading. Okay. So let's have the right leg again in front. And as we lifted the toes up, we rounded the back and we had the eyes down, right? Let's try to do the opposite. Let's lift the toes up, but arch the back and look up. And when we are lowering the toes, we're gonna round the back and we're gonna look down. So when you lift the toes, you arch and you look up. So we're confusing the brain a little bit. We're trying to do the opposite. The toes come up. And you don't have to bring your eyes and your head higher than the horizon, just functionally to where you're going. So even if we have the flexibility, we just bring the eyes as much as the toes come up. Can you coordinate between how much the front of the foot comes up to how much the eyes are coming up? Good, and then I can scramble even more, and as the eyes come up and the head comes up, but now look down, and the toes are up. Keep the toes up and eyes down, and come. And toes are up, and you arch your back, but the eyes go down to the toe. And the toes come up, and you arch your back, and you look down. All right, enough to scramble the brain. Let's do it on the other side. It's okay, it's just, you know. The more we play with the plasticity, it's not just for the exercises, it's for everything that we do. Okay, so where were we? We lifted the toes up and we arched forward. And when we lowered the toes, we came center. And we lifted the toes and we arched forward. That's the opposite of what we did. And now we're gonna lift the toes and roll back and look up. Doesn't feel very good, right? But it's a possibility. So we're playing with different possibilities. Now the head will go up, but the eyes will go down to the toe and center. We're gonna round the back, we lift the toes, but the eyes will go down. We're gonna round the back, we're gonna lift the head, and the eyes will go down. Okay, that's enough. And bring the legs together. Slide your fingers underneath your knee bone, the patella, and hook your fingers underneath. And now we're gonna go to the C with a little bit more tension. We're gonna come up to the L. And now we're gonna come in front of the L. Are your eyes moving just as much as your back moving? And the L, and the C. Eyes are going down. L, eyes come to the horizon. Arching, eyes coming just a little bit higher. And rounding to the C, through the L, to the arching. L, and now go to the C, but bring your knees a little bit closer together and feel what it does to your shoulders and to your strength. And keep the knees in and come forward and feel what it does to your strength. Can you feel how it's weakening you? Let's go back. Legs is the width of your pelvis. Go back, but bring your knees in. That usually indicates that the core muscles are really weak. Come back up and go forward and bring the knees in. Can I show you how to do it? Let me show you. No, that's answering it.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
Okay. You can put it on silence. I'll show you later. Okay.
You want me to do it for you now?
All right, so
Is that what
at this point, we're gonna keep the knees hip width apart so we have the strength, the structure to go back and press the heels down into the floor. Feel the heels anchoring into the floor. Come back to the L shape. Come forward, the little arch in the lower back, little arch in the neck, and the weight goes towards the toes. And your chest is open. Chest is open. You can put your hands on your legs and you can slide forward on the chair and back. So some of you are sitting too far. I can see too much of the chair. I don't want to see the chair. Really anchor, like you're perching, like a bird with your sitting bones, you're perching on the edge of the chair. So We're gonna go back. The eyes are down. You're in a C shape. The heels are touching. Make sure that your heels are pressing. Press, 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 press. Look at me for a second. Press, 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 press the heels. Heels, heel. Push, push, push the heels. Push, push, push the heels. And come back to the L. And now go forward and open the chest and look a little bit up so you can slide and come back. L and back and L. And how high, how much arching and how high do the eyes have to go for you to slide off the chair? Where is the strength? Is it in the thighs or is it through the whole body? It should be through the whole body. Yeah, those are the strong muscles. They do the work. But it has to be as if you were putting a scale underneath you, that the scale will go 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, without a jump to 170 and then to 105 again. Okay? Can you create a small, a smooth transition? A smooth transition, even if you don't get up. Put your hands on the chair, maybe here, and just find it. Just find it. It's not about, I can do it. It's, you get up and every day. What we're trying to do is to find, work a little bit with the placement of your feet, because when you are just about, there is a drop here.
Yeah, I can feel my feet coming up.
Yeah. So just work on that without the ambition of getting up. Just find where to put your feet, the transition that's better. But still, your right leg is working. There's a weakness there. Try to work with the heel a little bit in different place. So it can be tiny little bit of a variation that will give you the stability and the strength. Imagine that you're in the Far East or in the Middle East and you have to go to the bathroom just standing like this, right? You know, the places that there's no bathroom, you're just a hole in the, and you have to squat. You have to be able to do that,
Yeah.
right? So, thank God we do have chairs and we do have toilets, but it's good to be able to find it. All right, so now, let's take one leg in front of the other a little bit. And that gives us a different opening with a little bit of a rotation. It is easier. When one leg is back and one leg is forward, that will give us a tiny little bit of a rotation of this hip going forward, and that will make it easy. So one leg in front, one leg in the back, and find a way to, so now you have the strength in between. You have a little bit of a rotation. Use the hand if you need to.
One of the chairs might work better.
Never mind.
And now try the other side. One leg in front, one leg in the back.
I'm gonna try this.
One leg in front, one leg in the back. And up we go.
You got it.
And so the main thing is to use the eyes. The eyes are going up, 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 together with my body. Even maybe a second before the body. The eyes are showing the body where to go. It's enough. That's plenty. That's good. Go ahead and sit down. Go all the way back. All the way back. All the way back. And get your spine touching the cushion of the back of the chair. Press the spine into the chair and release. And press the spine into the chair and release. And press the spine into the chair again and release. And now that spring is coming, in my backyard there's 2 little black snakes, racer snakes, and they go like this. So that's what we're gonna do with the spine. We're gonna keep it on the chair, and move it laterally, side to side, like a tiny little snake that's coming up your back, all the way up to your neck and into your head. Or a lizard, something that you're not afraid of. How smooth can you get the spine to move from side to side? And rest. And take your right arm forward, 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 and across to the left. And bring it back to forward and all the way to the chair and rest. And bring the other arm forward and forward and forward and cross over. Cross, 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 cross. And forward, 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 forward. And back. And take a deep breath in. And thank you so very much, and I'll see you next time.